The Mad World of John Carpenter, and some alien stuff in Bob's basement. This sci-fi buzz is totally insane. This week, we remember an unsung hero of horror, John Carradine. Descend once again into Bob's basement for a truly alienating experience. Buzz with avid fantasy reader turned avid fantasy writer, Barbara Hambly. And discover the method to the madness of John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness.
I know this book will drive people crazy. I just hope so. The movie comes out next month.
Arnold Schwarzenegger starring in a new Planet of the Apes film? What? Well, I thought Chuck Heston was a big enough stiff. Now this? But our crack staff says it could happen. Hi, Buzzers. Mike Jarek here in Sci-Fi Central. Just scrolling through the news of the sci-fi, fantasy, and horror worlds out there. Let's see. Oh, a big screen version of cable TV cult fave Mystery Science Theater 3000. One of my favorites is finally a go. This is what it's about. Well, let's see. What lucky sci-fi stinker will get verbally zapped this time? Most likely, they say, 1954's This Island Earth, about aliens with mile-high foreheads. Sounds pretty good. But that's about the only interesting thing on the news right now. Let's see. Let's check out a poll we've been taking from our online comments about Sci-Fi Buzz. Posting on bulletin boards favor Harlan Ellison about 9-1. I find that hard to believe. But I like Harlan. But more importantly, the dashing host of the show, Mike Jarek, is universally loved. One comment says, keep up the puns, Mike. You know, not all people like puns because 2/3 of a pun is P.U. Now, here's something I find very disturbing, actually. People are saying they want to see more of Susan Hyman, that human right over there being quapped. You want to see more of her? What exactly do you mean, Buzzers, by that? I'm the host of the show, darn it. Actually, Susan is a little bit disturbed today because she just got back from doing a feature with John Carpenter. And that would have disturbed anybody, huh?
It's funny, isn't it? For years, I thought I was making all this up.
They were telling me what to write.
John Carpenter, the director behind terrifying treats like The Fog and Halloween, has returned with his first full-blown horror fare since 1988, They Live. His latest fright fest, In the Mouth of Madness, is inspired by the macabre images conjured up by early 20th century pulp writer H.P. Lovecraft.
Usually in a Lovecraft story, the narrator will see something that will drive him almost completely crazy. It will be this unbelievable, indescribable, you can't even talk about it. Well, you see the problem for movies. How are you going to show something that's indescribable?
Do you read Sutter Kane?
What? The film's premise is that the latest book by Sutter Kane, a popular horror novelist, literally drives readers insane. When the mysterious author disappears, an insurance investigator and Kane's editor, played by Julie Carmen, are sent to find him.
This is not a typical horror film. It's a psychedelic, mind-bending film. I think it's more like a theological thriller or a metaphysical thriller. I know John Carpenter calls it a monster movie.
Well, no matter what one calls this freaky flick, it's strewn with creepy creatures. Carpenter called on K&B Effects, his cohorts on the Showtime trilogy Body Bags, to work their makeup magic on the Madness monsters.
In The Thing, my remake of The Thing, we wanted to bring this monster out under a light and say, here's what it can do, and believe it, it is real. Now, In the Mouth of Madness is a different kind of story, so therefore you do different techniques. We kept the creatures a little more shadowy in that, because it's more of a literary story.
This is not reality! Reality is not what it used to be.
Jurassic Park star Sam Neill plays the cynical insurance investigator who finds he's being sucked into the warped fictional world of a Sutter Kane novel.
If you look at The Mouth of Madness, I think it's a damn fine acting job, even if I say so myself, because the trick is to make everything real. Nothing's going to work unless the actor's making you believe it.
There's a moment when Sutter Kane's fiction completely overtakes reality, and Carpenter says that was a challenging sequence to visualize. Determined to pull it off, he went to the wizards at Industrial Light and Magic and asked them to create an optical effect that gives the illusion of a tear in the fabric of reality.
That was a difficult one to achieve. That was the most difficult. And it involves several elements. And what you do is you work with people like ILM, who are just brilliant at it. And they come up with ideas. But you know, this stuff has never been done before. It's not like calling up and ordering a pizza and saying, I want one rip in reality, please, with anchovies.
Carpenter is currently directing an updated version of the eerie British chiller, Village of the Damned. And while he'll continue to venture outside the horror genre when opportunity knocks, he derives a perverse pleasure in scaring the masses.
There was one moment I remember in a New York Film Festival. I was standing outside the door and they were showing Halloween, and I heard the audience scream and scream. It's like music to my ears.
And now, once again, it's time to go to Bob's Basement to visit one of the world's biggest collectors of science fiction memorabilia and the guy who really knows his way around the dumpster, Bob.
You said something about Alien, right?
Yeah.
Like Alien? You like the movie Alien?
Oh, yeah.
Sigourney Weaver? All that
You got
stuff?
stuff down here?
Man, I've got stuff from Alien that will come out your ears, among other things.
Just as long as it doesn't come out my chest.
Oh, we may have ourselves an alien.
I'm sure. Around here. Oh.
I thought so all along.
Okay.
You know, the hair kind of covers these weird-looking ears.
I tried. I'm sorry. Well,
so this stuff is all from the original Alien.
That's from Alien. Yes, it is. That's the detector Sigourney Weaver walked around with, looking for the critter and all that stuff.
Now, I don't want to say it's cheesy or anything, but I mean, they make it look so cool in the movie. It has this little key that turns on the light.
Yeah.
And then this little button down it, you actually have to hit it with your finger over and over and over and over. Very low tech.
Well, hey, I mean, you know, it's only billions of dollars to do that.
You talk about low tech. What do you think that is? Look at this. How cheesy. That's an ice tray.
I know, but it's great for keeping martinis cool in there. Works great.
That's the way movies are, though.
That's true.
See, it didn't even go off. Went right by me.
True.
Now, I remember this. This is the cat box, right?
Jones's cat box. There it is, right there. You want to see this?
Yeah.
Would you put your would you put your cat in there? Just feel that. No way would I put a cat in there.
Oh, man, that's hard.
You
No
better
padding
believe
at all.
No. That's why the cat was always so mad.
What's this made from? I mean, what was it originally?
Fiberglass. It was cast out of fiberglass. All sculpted and cast out of fiberglass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ridley Scott wanted everything real, totally. It had to work. This has a lock on it. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
That's the way he is.
Oh, it's the face suckers.
Huggers.
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 These are the ones from the actual movie?
This is the one that was on the guy's face when he's laying there.
Yeah.
Here's what's left of the little air bladders. You know, the things going,
all
that stuff. Well, this, they blew air through these tubes. This is the one, actually, that came out of the egg. You know, he looks down in the egg and you see the thing fly up. Well, this is really beat up now, but you can see this is actually
falling apart.
Of course, it is. It's
what is
old.
that?
That's a part of its skin. You're holding alien skin.
Oh,
there. Yeah.
Nice. Stay out of the sun, folks.
Yes.
This is a perfect example of what we're talking about.
Believe me. This is over a glove, a regular garden glove.
Look at that. This is a gardening glove right
The
there.
guy was down inside the egg. The camera looked down. He just pushed it right up.
Why are they so dry?
Foam rubber doesn't last very long. I mean, it goes quick like zilch. It's gone. The smog gets it, all of the goo and the slime that was all over it just eats the rubber up.
Well, here he is.
There he is. That's the head, the actual actor, the real tall guy who in the film wore. Now, the earthquake kind of damaged the jaw, so it isn't holding up right now. A couple of teeth are missing. It's fiberglass. This is a little plastic coating thing up here. And it's very heavy, and it's top heavy. It was very hard for the guy to
It sure looks like metal, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And that's just done with paint then to make it look like
These
metal?
artists are so good at doing this kind of stuff.
Guess he should have flossed more, huh?
Oh, boy.
Look at this thing. Now, this looks like metal, too, like a big metal weenie. Armor, hot dog. Armor, armor.
But that is actually out of foam rubber, because the stuntman wore that. That was Eddie Powell wore this thing. And it had to be very light, because he's the one that gets pulled out of the airlock at the end. Shoots him. And they shot the scene actually upside down. So gravity and space, if they had just pulled him out, he would have fallen down.
Sure.
And they wanted him to go up and spin around, so they actually drug him up from the top. Now, this was built for the movie. The tool case, never used in the film. It just got cut out. You know, it just ran out of time. Who knows what? Right. Why. Loaded with tools and different things in here.
So the guys were going to work, and Sigourney were going to work on the spaceship.
Right, and patch it up. This is a little light that, you know, actually still works.
Oh, my God.
See that?
That didn't need to work.
You need a little work in there. Yeah, we'll take care of that in a while. But but all this stuff worked. Yeah, they made everything practical. Ridley wanted everything so it would work. And as a result, he would come up with even things like this. Now, this thing actually would plug into here, if I can ever get it plugged in, Has a master switch, this switch, and this is great for like dental work. And I was talking, I think we need a little work. Here,
no.
Oh, come on. It won't. Oh, just be a second. Won't hurt.
I can't stand drills.
You'll love it.
You don't. Hey, don't push me.
Oh, come on.
I'm close to the edge.
Oh man, come on. Here we go. Oh man, never mind.
When we re-energize, we'll fantasize with fantasy author Barbara Hambly and take a trip to the cutting edge.
Sci-Fi Buzz is brought to you by Eagle. Test drive an Eagle Vision at your local Eagle dealer.
This Eagle Vision features traction control.
Other cars have that.
Speed-sensitive steering.
Other cars have that too.
Anti-lock brakes. That too. Look, why don't you take a bird ride, smart guy? Hurry back. Hey, it's Mr. Smart Guy on his Eagle Vision. Still think it's a lot like other cars?
Yep.
Really? Which one?
Lexus, BMW, Acura.
Smart guy. Hey, you don't know a three-letter word for pork belly, do you?
أصاحبي أنا مخلق مرتني بإذا رجع جميع الكمبيوترات اتصلوا ببعضياتهم أنا ما تصنعش الصواريخ واش حكيتي مع أبي في الموضوع؟ لا
شوف راهم كلهم يجعلوا الكمبيوتر ديالك يتصل بالكمبيوتر ديالهم ويتصل بأي كمبيوتر
وعندك نمرة التليفون ديالهم
معلوم غادي تصير لك مكالمة إلكترونية.
You are watching Sci-Fi Buzz on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Want to know what's coming up on the Sci-Fi Channel? Call 1-900-773-SFCS for a current schedule, including series episodes and movie descriptions. Call costs 95 cents per minute. Average call is 2 minutes.
It's not the day stalker. It's the night stalker. We started shooting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and bounced home at 4:30 in the morning.
Darren McGavin stars as the paranormal reporter in Kolchak, the Night Stalker, part of the Sci-Fi series collection, tomorrow at 9.
What's it like working with Baskin?
A home and cool off, Jim.
Not easy, I'll tell you that. You're shooting blanks. Where are your facts? The guy's a control freak. That's way out of line. Can't stand anything happening without him knowing about it. I heard that. See what I mean?
Tech War, a USA Network original. Monday nights at 10, 9 Central.
Hey, staff, who wants half my donut?
I do.
Okay. Hey, this is one cutting edge at Sci-Fi Buzz, and here's another. On this week's Cutting Edge, this commuter nightmare isn't a scene from a horror movie. It's just another day in Los Angeles. There are currently 6.2 million registered vehicles in LA County, so it's no wonder no one gets to their destination on time. But the days of sitting in traffic may soon be over, thanks to this ATM lookalike, which doesn't dispense cash, only information.
Welcome to Smart Traveler, a system to help you get around Los Angeles faster and more efficiently.
The Smart Traveler is cutting-edge technology, the first interactive, bilingual, touchscreen kiosk which provides commuters with up-to-the-minute travel conditions. And the State of California Department of Transportation is hoping this will make life easier.
The purpose of these kiosks are to encourage the public to make pre-travel decisions before they decide to get either on the freeway, take their car. They might come up with other decisions like using a carpool, using a bus.
A bus? Yeah, right. But even if commuters in the car capital of the world ignore mass transit, these little machines access information which identifies the least congested route. There are currently only 77 kiosks because the advanced travel information systems have not been green-lighted for widespread use. That depends on public response to this pilot program. But if all runs smoothly, one of these kiosks might make it to the Olympics.
We are being looked at by other states across the country, such as Texas and also Atlanta. Atlanta looking at it for possibly including it as part of the Olympic transportation system. So it's very exciting.
This is Carla in San Diego, and I'd like to recommend Condor, a science fiction convention held annually in San Diego. This year's guests are Jerry Doyle from Babylon 5, author Jennifer Robeson, and also from Babylon 5, production designer John Iacovelli. You can call area code 619-447-6311. This year's convention will be held at the Town and Country Hotel, 500 Hotel Circle in San Diego, California. And the dates are February 24th through the 26th.
Now, earlier in the program, I told you how popular our producer Susan Hyman is becoming on the bulletin boards. Oh, people posting and posting for Susan. They want to actually get out and impress some Susan Hyman flesh at conventions. They want you to come to more conventions.
Mike, we are out there at conventions all the time. Where do you think we get all our great story ideas? Conventions. Recently, we met Barbara Hambly, a fantasy author of Bride of the Rat God.
I'm probably the only person I know who has known for her entire life what she wanted to be when I grew up. I wanted to be a writer when I was like 4.
As a youth, fantasy writer Barbara Hambly sought out the imaginary worlds of J.R.R. Tolkien and L. Frank Baum as a safe haven from the harsh realities of adolescence.
It was a way of distancing myself from, being a fat, pimply-faced girl in high school and being, socially inept and being considered a weirdo and the kind of pain that you go through as a teenager.
But unlike most avid fantasy buffs, content to read the work of their favorite authors, Hambly was inspired to write her own stories.
I can remember being a small child, and I really wanted to immigrate to Oz. And I wanted that really bad, and I never could manage it. I'm sure that it is no coincidence that my first fantasy trilogy was about somebody who did just that.
Mainstream readers have a tendency to dismiss fantasy books as a bunch of sword and sorcery gibberish. And while Hambly admits her own books fall under the fantasy banner, they've been able to transcend any cut-and-dried classification.
I know that a number of people have said to me, I never read fantasy and I don't like fantasy, but I like your stuff. And the judgment seems to be that my characters are very real and the situations that they are in are very real. And I would like to think that, most of the people in my books have a sense of humor, which frequently does not happen in fantasy.
It's somewhat ironic that Hambly's readers appreciate the realism in her writing, since magic is a much-used story device in her work.
It's just something that fascinates me, the form of magic. How do you do magic? What actually are you doing? What kind of power are you calling into shape? How does a person tap the magic within themselves?
Hambly believes consistency is the key to writing good fantasy. No matter how wild the idea, readers will come along for the ride if guidelines are established at the beginning of a story and followed throughout. After all, unlike other fiction genres, fantasy springs entirely from the mind of the author.
Yeah, I'm making it all up. But I have studied a great deal of, quote, magic systems that people have believed in at different times and places. And, reading, well, what did these people consider the proper philosophy of magic, or the proper, what is magic? I know that for myself, I have absolutely no magic powers. I do not believe in magic. So I am paranormally and magically null.
Hambly's latest far-out fantasy is called Bride of the Rat God. This ode to her faithful Pekingese hooches is about a silent film vamp who's pursued by a giant Manchurian rat demon. While researching the book, set in 1920s Hollywood, the Los Angeles-based author discovered a bit of Tinseltown trivia that brings our story full circle.
I learned that L. Frank Baum wrote most of the Oz books when he was living in Los Angeles in the teens. And when I realized that, all of a sudden I realized the Emerald City is Los Angeles. I went, I really did immigrate to Oz.
remembering John Carradine, one of horror film's most prolific actors. Next.
Mon disque dur est plein. Oh, il faut que j'archive 500 MB ou je t'ai fichu.
Oh, ça c'est embêtant. J'ai entendu dire qu'il travaillait sur un nouveau procédé laser pour stocker de l'information.
Le laser? Qui fait ça?
Ah, IBM. Oui, IBM. Ils disent même qu'on pourra stocker 10 fois plus de données.
C'est incroyable.
These days, you can dial a 1-800 number to deliver flowers, order clothes. Buy a chainsaw. Buy a chainsaw, of course. Now you can dial this number to test drive any new Eagle. Let me see. Sure. Yeah, you got it. Thank you. Okay, Pete, now what's that number for information about an Eagle test drive?
1-800-2-TEST-EAGLE.
Eagle leasing?
1-800-2-TEST-EAGLE.
Eagle features?
1-800-2-TEST-EAGLE.
Party line dating?
1-800... How would I know?
How would I know?
Fun, easy, inexpensive, and ingenious.
That's what coaches and experts say about solo tennis. Improves all tennis skills. Form, timing, speed, confidence, strength, and endurance.
How does it work?
Just hit the ball and solo tennis will return it to you every time.
Who can play?
Anyone of any age. Simple enough for a novice, yet challenging enough for an expert.
Where can you play?
Anywhere. No backboard or tennis court is needed. Solo tennis is a fun, exciting game you can play anytime. Tennis USTA magazine says,
take full natural strokes and the ball comes back to you every time.
Inside Tennis magazine calls it
simple yet innovative.
Solo tennis, called the best invention in 20 years by World Tennis magazine, is now available for only $19.95 plus shipping and handling. For fast delivery, just call the toll-free number on your screen. Solo tennis comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Order yours today.
I drink to love. A union to last throughout eternity. A love free from all material needs.
It's time to raise a glass and pay tribute to one of horror's greatest hands, John Carradine. Today, February 5th, marks what would have been the actor's 89th birthday, had he not succumbed to pneumonia in 1988.
I'm no longer afraid.
I will come for you before the dawn.
With his roles in Stagecoach and The Grapes of Wrath, John Carradine became a respected Hollywood character actor. But it was the maniacal deviance he brought to life in hundreds of horror films that endears him to us fans. With his gaunt silhouette and booming voice, Carradine forged a film career that spanned almost 6 decades, beginning in 1930. Although some critics insist the actor did his best work in the early 40s, our favorite Carradine period is the mid-40s, starting with his role in Captive Wild Woman in 1943. He plays a scientist who turns an orangutan into a woman. Well done.
Bring Carras to me. Wherever he is, guide his steps into these hills where I await him.
And how about his compelling work the following year in The Mummy's Ghost? As an Egyptian high priest, Carradine finds Lon Chaney's 3,000-year-old reincarnated lover, only to fall head over heels in love with her himself.
I'll take her back, Carras. Together we'll go to our camp. The three of us, I swear it.
So you're Bluebeard.
Who said so?
You'll find another tour de force performance in Bluebeard. Carradine's homicidal puppeteer could take on any modern-day psycho killer. Although he dies way too soon in 1944's House of Frankenstein, Carradine's portrayal of Dracula ranks among the best. Luckily, he got to reprise the role the following year in House of Dracula. In that film, he pretends to be seeking a cure for his nocturnal affliction, but is really trying to horn in on a good doctor's tasty nurse. Not that nurse, this nurse.
But 19 inches, I mean, that's...
That sounds mad. That's what they call me at Masters and Johnson's clinic. Mad.
Carradine went on to star in hundreds more films until his death 7 years ago. His favorite role was as Long Jack in Captain Courageous. One of his worst films, Carradine says, was Billy the Kid versus Dracula, a shoddy production at best that permitted its Dracula to fly around in the daytime.
Ray, what happened?
I think something's buckling.
Ray, what's buckling? What's buckling, Craig?
Carradine did star in more than his share of stinkers, but no matter how campy or clumsily directed some of his films were, John Carradine more than made up for them with the stunning work he did in the mid-40s. Happy birthday, John, and rest in peace, old sport. Here at Sci-Fi Buzz, we'd like to celebrate unsung horror heroes. And did you know this? This would have been John Carradine's 89th birthday today. Now, this may seem a little bit macabre, but happy birthday, John. Look what we have for you. Now, don't you think this would have been a fitting tribute for John Carradine? Don't you think he would like this?
It's kind of sick, Mike.
You'll still eat the cake, though, won't you?
Of course.
I was starting in a new school, so of course my face exploded into Monsters Inc. Just kind of first impression I loved to make. I can picture my Saturday nights for the next 5 years. It scares me. I wanted to blast those sets.
With Clearasil, you'll have fewer pimples in 3 days and your money back. Guaranteed.
It really worked. Yeah. The first day I looked like everyone else from the neck up. From the neck down, that is another story.
Fewer pimples in 3 days and your money back. Guaranteed.
We're here to test the safety features of the Eagle Vision along with insurance underwriter Donald Duncan. As a matter of fact, here at the Chrysler Test Track, he's going to do a loop-de-loop through the wall of flames, which, oh, I'm just kidding with you. Come on now. We're back with Don, our favorite insurance underwriter. Did you notice anti-lock brakes?
Yes.
Dual airbag?
Yes.
Seems to me with all those safety features, insurance rates could actually drop. Thanks, Don. Duncan. Donald Duncan. Duncan. That's Duncan, all right.
Your worst nightmare
Coming out of the darkness
just came true. Shadow Zone, Saturday at 2:11 Pacific.
You are watching Sci-Fi Buzz on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Mon disque dur est plein. Il faut que j'archive 500 MB ou je suis fichu. Oh, ça c'est embêtant. J'ai entendu dire qu'il travaillait sur un nouveau procédé laser pour stocker de l'information. Le laser? Qui fait ça? IBM. Oui, IBM. Ils disent même qu'on pourra stocker 10 fois plus de données. C'est incroyable. I know it sounds crazy, but yeah, I took the high endurance challenge from Old Spice because I didn't really think it could work better than my old deodorant. But it does. It evaporates less quickly. It also lasts longer, protects better. Try it. If you don't think it's the best, call 1-800-PROVE-IT, and they'll buy you a stick of yours. So if you still think every deodorant works the same, take the high endurance challenge from Old Spice. Because now you got proof. Guaranteed.
Before I leave you today, I want to tell you that the X-Files are coming to Sci-Fi Buzz. In 2 weeks, on February 19th, we'll have David Duchovny will be on the show, Gillian Anderson, and the executive producer, Chris Carter, is going to be here. Now, next week, make sure you tune in because Garant Davies from Forever Night will be on, and Harlan Ellison promises a commentary that's really going to irritate all you bulletin board users. Won't that be fun? We'll see you next week for Sci-Fi Buzz.
The mysteries of aliens, the magic of Houdini, the miracles of angels. Now the real stories, people, and events are explained in a thrilling new series, Mysteries, Magic, and Miracles, hosted by Patrick McNee. Coming up next.